Consists of me, Bela, Putri, and Ainy.
I am Khurotun Ni'mah.
I am Fadea and Amallia.
We are want to explore about Pendem Fort at Ngawi. Check it out!
I've been thinking on my mind every time. Want you here is on my mind all the time. All the time. Every time I've been thinking on my mind. Every time.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have you ever heard of Fort Pendem? Or even have you ever visited? If not, with us, let's check it out. History of Fort Vandenbosch. Fort Vandenbosch, or better known as Fort Pendem, is a fort located in Pelem Village, Ngawi City. It is called the Pendem Fort. The reason is because the location of the fort is surrounded by mound of earth like it was birds. The history of the establishment of Fort Vandenbosch began when Ngawi succeeded in capturing the Dutch in 1825. At the time, Ngawi was indeed known as one of the trade and cruiser ships centers in East Java, as well as the Dutch defense center in Madiun and its surroundings. To maintain this strength, the Dutch East Indies government built a fort which was later named Fort Vandenbosch. The location of this fort is very strategic, namely at the confluence of the Begawan Sulu and Madiun rivers. Fort Vandenbosch was completed in 1845 and was used as a residence for 250 Dutch soldiers and 60 cavalry led by Johannes Vandenbosch. Functions of Fort Vandenbosch. At the beginning of its contractions, Fort Vandenbosch used the Dutch to maintain its positions while guarding trade routes in East Java. During the Japanese occupation, this fort was converted into a prison, but between February 1943 and February 1944, around 1,580 people were recorded as languists in this building. This number continued to increase until the eve of Indonesian independence. Nakamura was licensed as a prison guard, while local residents were treated as wardens. When the Japanese left Indonesia, the prisoners were released. After the surrender of defeat, Fort Vandenbosch was used by the Indonesian Army. Building complex. Fort Vandenbosch measures 165 meters and 80 meters and is built on an area of 15 hectares. Currently, Fort Vandenbosch is being restored because some of the buildings are no longer intact due to the boom attack by Japanese troops. However, the typical building style of these European forts can still be enjoyed today. Inside this fort there is the tomb of Kiai Haji Muhammad Nur Salim, one of Prince Diponegoro's followers who was captured by the Dutch. It is said that Kiai Haji Muhammad Nur Salim captured the Dutch and was buried alive in this fort because he was immune from being shot. The location of the tomb is in the main fort room, to be precise next to the mini museum, which is bounded by glass. The interesting things from Fort Pendam.
Okay guys, now I will mention about some unique and interesting fact about Pendam Fort at Ngawi. Let's check it out. Number 1. The number of door and window holes. The first fact is that it turns out that the number of door and window holes in Fort Pendam Ngawi is known to be more numerous than the doors in the historic building of Lawang Sewu. This was revealed by the Regent of Ngawi, Ainy Anwar, through his Instagram upload. He wrote that Fort Pendam had 510 door and window holes, which exceeded Lawang Sewu, which only had 429 door and window holes. Number 2. Building structure. The second fact mentioned by Ainy Anwar regarding Fort Pendam Ngawi is that 70% of the original building structure has a fort foundation with a depth of 5 meters, thus making this fort stand firmly since 1845. Number 3. Land area. The third fact states that the area of the Fort Pendam area is 21.18 hectares or equivalent to a quarter of the area of Monas in Jakarta. Number 4. Origin of the name Pendam. The naming of Fort Vandenbosch Pendam is not a coincidence. In Japanese, the word Pendam means buried in the ground. If we go around the fort, it will be seen that the main building is below ground level around it. The fort building looks like it is surrounded by an earthen embankment on the back, right, and left. The embankment also functions as a barrier to the overflow of water from the Bengawan Solo and Bengawan Madiun rivers when they overflow. As is well known, the Pendam Ngawi Fort is close to the confluence of 2 large rivers. Number 5. Advanced drainage. Apart from having a natural embankment to hold back floods, Pendam Fort was also equipped with a drainage system that was sophisticated at its time. The drainage canal can still be seen today. The canal is also still functional. The entire building area is equipped with a drainage system. The channels then empty into the Bengawan Solo River. At the end of the canal is also equipped with an automatic opening and closing door system when the river water overflows, so that the Pendam Fort remains safe from the overflow of floods that enter from the drainage tunnel. The drainage tunnel that leads to the Bengawan Solo stream can be seen from the back of Pendam Ngawi Fort building. The structure of the aqueduct is still the original work of Dutch colonial architecture at that time. Number 6. Temperature Control System. If you pay attention to the building of the Pendam Ngawi Fort, on all four sides there are special buildings. The location of the building is in each corner. The building is known as the bastion. The bastions functions as a temperature regulator for storing ammunition or gun bullets for Dutch soldiers so they don't explode. Number 7. Detention Special Prison. Usually a fort building, of course, also has a room that functions as a prison. Fort Pendam Ngawi also has a prison building for prisoners. There is a special prison room according to the level of punishment of prisoners in the past. Prisoners with light sentence can stand, while the punishment that is not too severe should be sitting. If it's very heavy, they have to lie face down. The special prison was under the stairs, flat on the bottom side and oval or curve on the top side. And the last, giant opium tree. In front of the Pendam Ngawi Fort building there is a giant kapuk tree. The circle of the kapuk tree was measured is more than the scope of the hands of 4 adults. The kapuk tree has been around since the Pendam Ngawi Fort was built, which means the kapuk tree is now hundreds of years old. Apart from the giant kapuk tree, at the back of the Pendam Ngawi Fort there are also 2 trees attached to the walls of the building. The 2 trees were quite exotic, with decorative roots creeping up the walls and windows. There are several fun facts about Pendam Fort that people rarely know.
Okay, next, I will explain about the reconstruction of Fort Vandenbosch. The cultural heritage built in 1839 by Governor Vandenbosch hold evidence of the sophistication of the Dutch colonial era drainage system. One of the most important parts in the reconstruction of Fort Ngawi is the building drainage. Drainage applied in Fort Pendam has regulated the disposal of wastewater and how to utilize water that is not waste. When viewed directly, Fort Pendam Ngawi has several types of drainage form. For example, wastewater drainage is definitely discharged directly into the river with the aim that water does not circulate around the fort. Drainage is also made so that the water in the fort does not stagnate, so the place is always dry. The reconstruction team will plan 3 species with a low probability of damaging the building structure. An example is the sawo kecik tree as planned in the Yogyakarta Palace area. Sawo kecik trees look beautiful, do not grow too big and do not have the potential to damage the building structure. Rehabilitation Project of Fort Pendem Ngawi. Project owner, Ministry of Public Works and Housing. Description: the Ministry of Public Works and Public Housing is rehabilitating the cultural heritage of Fort Vandenberg or Fort Pendem in Ngawi Regency, East Java Province. The work is carried out by contractor PT Nindya Karya Persero with a contract value of 113.7 billion rupiah, used to rehabilitate 13 buildings in the fort complex as well as structuring the core area of the fort. The 13 buildings include the Army Barracks Building, Officer Mess, Public Kitchen, General Residence and Office, Bastion, and Gate. Project value 113.7 billion rupiah. Project schedule 2022 to 2023. The rehabilitation of Fort Pendem Ngawi began on December 10, 2020 as follow-up to President Joko Widodo directive after visiting the historic building in February 2019. Currently, the building construction work has been completed 100% and is ready to be inaugurated as an educational tourist destination and landmark of the heritage are in Ngawi Regency.
That's all our visit at Pendem Fort now.